Let the race begin as Leeds Grenville candidates leave the starting line for another federal election set for May 2nd. The election was called after the federal government lost a non-confidence vote in the House of Commons on Friday, 156 votes to 145. Prime Minister Stephen Harper visited the Governor-General David Johnston on Saturday morning to ask for the dissolution of the 40th Parliament. BNTV News spoke with the local Leeds Grenville candidates representing the four major federal parties in the last couple of days to see what their thoughts were on the calling of the election and whether they are ready and what they thought will be the major issue facing Leeds and Grenville residents in this election.
I've been nominated since the 19th of February, but as far as being ready to go, I would have to say, yeah, what can you do? We're in this situation and the time's right now. Leeds and Grenville has been suffering. And there's no other time to get our foot forward in the door, and we're moving forward. We don't have a choice, and we're here to stay, and we're going to make some kind of a mark in Leeds and Grenville and make this count. I've been hearing back from some people. Part of what we've been doing so far, my campaign manager Lee Bursey and I, we've been hitting the streets hard, and we've been putting some literature out there, and we've been asking the constituents to get back to us. What I find is most important to people is pensions reforms. People on fixed incomes that cannot afford to live in a Canadian winter. It's taxing. The hydro bills have HST on it. They're paying through the roof for services that they cannot afford, and they've spent their entire life building society to what it is today, to be left in the cold, and I mean that literally and figuratively, by this current, or maybe not so current, Conservative government.
Oh, at the last minute, there's always so much to do, so one is never perfectly ready. But the campaign has attracted a huge number of very keen volunteers. They keep me going. And a crew of 14 or 15 people got 400 signs out all across the riding in 48 hours after the writ. We're doing some things, we're getting ready. We've got 2 of our offices nailed down in Brockville and Prescott, and 2 more to go in Gananoque and Kemptville. We've got a little money in the bank, and boy, are we enthusiastic. I'm really looking forward to this campaign. For Leeds and Grenville, the issue that I talk most about is the need for jobs in the small cities and small towns of Eastern Ontario. Leeds and Grenville communities have lost a lot of jobs, and most people understand that to get the next generation of jobs, we're going to all need more skills and education. We're going to have to work with new technology, and the trick is to get those new technology, clean technology jobs here in Leeds Grenville. They're concentrated in Ottawa and the big cities, and quite frankly, I'm not sure that governments know how to spin some of those jobs out into the smaller towns and smaller cities. That's the main thing I want to work on when I go to Ottawa, is to make sure that the economic development and job creation policies work for the towns of Leeds Grenville.
Basically, yes. We were, for about the past month and a half, the executive organization was thinking it was going to happen. So we have been getting our ducks in a row, if you like, trying to be sure that we were organized, that should it be called, we wouldn't be starting behind the 8 ball. Yes, as much as I can be. This is my first election, so I'm somewhat trepidatious about being able to present the Green Party platform well, intelligently, and getting people to listen. Well, in Leeds and Grenville, they're you're back to the basics. It's healthcare. We've got an older population here, so it's really making sure that our healthcare system remains healthy and universal. It's pensions as well. In terms of things like what has happened to the Nortel employees, there's also employment for youth. The reason we're an aging community is basically that there are very few opportunities within Leeds and Grenville, save and the north where people are commuting to Ottawa. Really, we have difficulty retaining the young. And that's the group I'm hoping to appeal to get out there and vote.
Well, first of all, we're always prepared in a minority government. You have to be prepared. I've been the Member of Parliament now over 7 years, and we always, with a minority government, expect that the government could fall at any time. We have been prepared. We have an excellent Conservative campaign team here in Leeds and Grenville, which knows the people here in our riding and knows how to run a campaign. Of course, we've been doing well for many, many years, and we were ready, but we are disappointed that this election's been called. I can tell you from traveling around Leeds and Grenville from the start of the campaign, people are quite angry that this election has been called. They blame the opposition parties for bringing the government down at a time when we didn't need an election. We didn't need an election until October of 2012. However, there is an election and we'll debate the issues, and I'm happy to put my record forward. The issue that's always the most important issue in Leeds and Grenville is the economy, and that's something that our government and I as the Member of Parliament have focused on since I was elected and since our government was elected in January of 2006. Canada's Economic Action Plan poured millions and millions of dollars into Leeds and Grenville in terms of infrastructure and economic development and knowledge infrastructure investments. And this is actually creating jobs, putting people back to work, and this is what our people expect. We're in a rural area. We have manufacturing jobs that have disappeared through no fault of our own, but with Canada's Economic Action Plan and our low tax plan to bring jobs and investment to our country, we all know that our country is leading the world out of this, what's now become known as the Great Recession. And I'm proud of what our government has done and what I've done right here in Leeds and Grenville. We recently concluded the economic development series that we had. We had all of our local municipalities, we had our community development corporations, interested people, and we met with all sectors of the economy here in Leeds and Grenville to put forward real solutions to our economic situation. People in Leeds and Grenville also want to know that they have a Member of Parliament they can count on. And I can tell you that they know after 7 years, or almost 7 years of having me as their member, they know I'm there, they know I'm responsive, they know that my staff work hard to solve their problems, and they know that I go to Ottawa and I clearly represent their views there. And they have shown considerable confidence in me in the past number of elections because they know that they can count on me. They know that I have been involved in our community for many, many years. I served in local council. I chaired the St. Lawrence Parks Commission. I've been there for our community. I have run my Hockey Night in Leeds Grenville event, which just in the last 2 years has raised over $200,000 for the United Way of Leeds and Grenville. The people of Leeds and Grenville know that they can count on Gord Brown as their Member of Parliament.
Leeds and Grenville residents and the rest of Canada will go to the polls on Monday, May 2nd. Dale Elliott, BNTV News, Brockville.